drifting down the river. A moonlit journey through the forest. There is a place where the forest begins before you notice it. One moment there is open sky, pale and wide as forgetting, and then the trees arrive. First one, then three, then a cathedral of them, their canopies lacing together overhead, until the stars show only in fragments, like something remembered rather than seen. The air changes here. It thickens with the smell of moss and bark, and the faint green exhale of things that have been growing quietly all summer long. The light, what little remains of it, has gone amber and low, settling into the spaces between roots, like something that has finally decided to rest. And through all of it, the river moves. It does not hurry. It has not hurried in a very long time. It began somewhere above this, somewhere cool and hidden, a spring that seeps up through dark stone, barely a whisper at first, a thread of water finding its way between pebbles, with a sound like a name half-spoken. It gathered itself slowly. A trickle becoming a pour becoming a pull, until it found its current and settled into it the way a body settles into a bed at the end of a long and honest day. You are moving with it now. Not swimming. There is no effort here. No cold, no current to fight. You are simply with it. Carried the way a leaf is carried, the way a thought drifts through the last minutes before sleep. The water is dark and clear at once, the way deep things often are. Beneath you, smooth stones catch what light reaches them and hold it, glowing faintly golden gray and the color of old wood. Small fish, shadows with fins, turn slowly in the current and do not startle at your passing. You belong here, or at least the river thinks so, and that is enough. The sounds come next. First, the river itself, a low and constant conversation, not loud, never loud, but loud in a way that fills the ears completely once you stop resisting it. There is the murmur of water over shallow stones, a brighter sound, almost musical. Beneath it, the deeper pull of the current in the middle, a hum without a note, and beneath even that, so low you feel it more than hear it, the river's weight moving against its own banks, patient and ancient and entirely unhurried. Then, beyond the water, the forest adds its voice. Somewhere to the left, high in an ash tree whose roots drink from the river's edge, a single owl calls once and then decides against continuing. The sound hangs in the air for a moment. That long, soft question, and the forest absorbs it. Crickets fill the space it leaves. Thousands of them. Their chorus so constant and so even that it becomes less a sound and more a texture. Something you could reach out and touch. Late summer crickets, unhurried in their singing, unaware that the nights are just beginning to cool, that autumn is somewhere on the other side of the hills, patient as the river. You drift. The first bend in the river comes slowly. The bank curves to the right, and the trees lean inward here, their branches reaching toward one another across the water until they nearly touch. forming a tunnel of leaves so dense that the night inside it is a deeper shade than the night outside. You pass through it the way you pass through the moment just before sleep, aware of a threshold, unable to say exactly when you crossed it. On the other side, the river widens slightly, and the air opens, and the sky returns above you, thick with stars that summer has been slowly arranging all season long. It is here that you find the heron. She is standing at the river's edge, on a flat stone that juts just barely above the waterline, and she has been standing there so long that the river has stopped noticing her. She is the color of smoke, of early morning, of things that are neither here nor there. One leg is folded beneath her. Her long neck is curved into itself, her head tucked at an angle that suggests thought, or the absence of it, which in the deepest hours of the night amounts to the same thing. Her eyes are closed, or nearly closed, a thin line of gold beneath each lid, just enough to know the world is still there should she need it. She does not need it. She breathes once, slowly, and her feathers shift. A ripple of gray and white, like the river itself, has briefly taken the shape of a bird. Then she is still again. You drift past her without disturbing her stillness, and for a moment after she has gone from sight, you carry the image of her with you. That absolute, unhurried stillness, that willingness to simply be in one place and let the world move around her. You wonder, drifting, what that might feel like. The river knows. The river has always known. Further downstream, where the bank grows lower and the mud is soft and dark and smells richly of roots and rain, a family of otters has arranged itself for the night. There are 4 of them, 2 large, 2 small, tucked into the shallow hollow beneath an old willow whose roots arch out over the water, like the fingers of a hand left open in sleep. The 2 small ones are pressed together so completely that they appear to be a single creature, a bundle of brown fur rising and falling with one shared breath. The larger 2 are curled on either side of them, their long tails trailing into the shallow water at the bank's edge, their heads resting on their own folded paws. One of the large otters, the one nearest the water, opens its eyes as you pass. It looks at you without alarm, without curiosity, with the particular gaze of a creature that has decided, long ago, that the river brings only good things, and that whatever comes downstream in the night is simply part of the river's long and gentle story. It watches you for a moment, soft dark eyes that hold no question, and then closes them again, settling more deeply into the mud and the willow roots and the warmth of the others. You feel, passing them, a kind of fullness. Not happiness exactly. Something quieter than that. Something closer to the feeling of arriving somewhere you didn't know you were going, and finding it exactly right. The river bends again. Here the current slows almost to stillness, pooling in a wide, dark circle beneath an enormous oak that has been growing at the water's edge for longer than the forest remembers. Its roots have become part of the riverbank, thick, arching cables of wood that descend into the water and hold the bank in place, with a gentleness that looks like strength, or perhaps is the same thing. Leaves drift down from its canopy occasionally, spinning as they fall, landing on the water's surface and being carried away downstream, beginning their own slow journey. Beneath the oak, in a hollow where two great roots form a cradle in the earth, a fox sleeps. She is curled tightly, her nose tucked beneath her tail, her rust-red fur gone dark in the shadow of the roots. Her ears, large and alert even in sleep, twitch once, twice, tracking something in a dream that will leave no trace by morning. Her breathing is slow and even, a rhythm you find yourself matching without meaning to. In, out. The smell of earth and oak and the river's cold breath. In, out. The soft percussion of the cricket choir, never pausing, never tiring. In, out. The fox dreams of running through fields you will never see, under a sun that belongs only to her. You drift on. The trees begin to change. You notice it gradually, the way you notice most true things, not all at once, but in accumulation. The oaks give way to willows, and the willows grow further apart, and between them the sky appears in longer and longer intervals, wide dark ribbons of it sewn with stars. The undergrowth along the banks softens from fern and bramble to long grass that bends over the water's edge and trails its tips along the surface, drawing faint lines in the current that vanish almost as they appear. The river itself has widened considerably now, spreading itself thin and slow and generous across a bed of fine sand and silt. And the sound it makes has changed. Lower, smoother, less a conversation now and more a long exhale. The forest is letting go of the river. Or perhaps the river is letting go of the forest. It is difficult to say, from here, which one is releasing the other. They have been companions for so long. The roots drinking, the water carrying, each shaping the other over centuries of quiet negotiation, that their parting is less an ending than a slow uncoupling, tender and without grief. The trees stand at a little more distance from the banks now, watching the water go, the way one watches something beloved move toward the horizon. Not with sadness, but with the fullness of having known it well. You feel this too, somehow. A deer stands at the river's edge ahead of you, drinking. She is young, not a fawn, but not yet fully grown, still carrying a lightness in her legs that the older deer have long since settled out of. She has walked through the forest all evening, following paths she did not choose so much as remember, and she has arrived here at the river's widening, the way living things arrive at the things they need, without entirely knowing how, but knowing, upon arrival, that this was where they were always going. She drinks slowly, her long neck arched, her reflection wavering on the water's surface below her. A second deer, rippling, made of river. When she lifts her head, water falls from her muzzle in drops that catch the starlight. Each drop is a small bright thing, there and then gone, rejoining the river without a sound. She stands for a moment, ears moving gently, reading the night's last messages. A distant rustling. A mouse, perhaps. Or a late breeze through dry leaves. The cry of something winged. Far away. Already fading. The river. Always the river. She finds nothing that asks anything of her. And so she turns, unhurried, and walks back into the tall grass. And the grass closes behind her, and she is gone so completely that you are not certain, a moment later, whether you saw her at all. Perhaps you dreamed her. Perhaps, by now, you are dreaming everything. The mist arrives without announcement. It rises from the river's surface in slow threads at first, pale wisps that curl upward and dissolve before they reach any height. Then more of them, and thicker, until the water ahead of you is breathing a soft white breath that drifts across the surface, and obscures the far bank and softens the reflections of the stars into long smeared streaks of silver. The air here is cooler. Not cold. Not the cold that wakes you, but the cool that deepens sleep, that pulls a blanket closer around you, that makes the body heavier and more grateful for its own warmth. You breathe it in. It tastes of water and late summer, and something older than either, something mineral and green and entirely without urgency. The mist thickens as you drift further into it, and the sounds of the forest, the crickets, the occasional owl, the whisper of wind through high branches, grow softer, as though the mist is gently placing its hands over them, not silencing, hushing, the way you hush something you love, not to stop it, but to let it rest. The river barely moves now. You barely move. The water here is so still and so dark that the surface has become a mirror. And in it, the stars are reflected so perfectly that above and below are the same thing. And you are suspended between them, between the sky and its reflection, between waking and its reflection, between the self that arrived at the forest's edge this evening, and the self that has been slowly, willingly dissolved by water, and sound, and the unhurried company of sleeping things. A beaver swims past you, close enough to touch. It does not look up. It finished its work hours ago and has been moving through the water since. Simply for the pleasure of moving. For the deep animal satisfaction of a body doing the thing it was made to do. Without effort or intention. Its broad tail trails behind it. Steering without steering. Its dark eyes are soft. It rounds a bend in the river that you cannot quite see and is gone. And the small wake it left behind spreads outward in gentle rings until the mist absorbs it. And the water is still again. As though the beaver were already a memory. Everything here becomes a memory gently. The mist is everywhere now. The banks have disappeared into it. The trees, where they remain, are suggestions, dark shapes that might be trunks, might be shadows, might be the last standing thoughts of a mind that is nearly done thinking for the night. The river continues beneath you, barely perceptibly, a slow and faithful current that asks nothing, carries everything. Arrives nowhere in particular, and finds that nowhere entirely sufficient. You are very heavy now. Not with tiredness, exactly. With settledness. With the particular weight of a body that has been held by something larger than itself and has stopped resisting the holding. Your breath has found the rhythm of the river without your having asked it to. In. The mist. Out. The mist. The stars above, or below, or both. The smell of water and roots and the last warmth the earth has saved from the day, giving it off now slowly into the cooling night. Somewhere behind you, upstream, the heron still stands on her stone. The otters breathe together, small and warm. The fox runs through her sunbright field. The deer is already deep in the forest, already dreaming. And the river moves through all of it. Through the cathedral trees and the amber light and the roots that hold the banks and the stones that hold the light. And it has been moving since before the forest. And it will be moving long after. And it does not mind. And it is not lonely. And it does not hurry. It simply goes. And you go with it. And the mist takes the rest.